Hello, welcome to another video. Today I thought I would make some ATCs or ACEOs. So that stands for Artist Trading Cards or Art Cards Editions and Originals. They were a big thing about 10-15 years ago, and I thought I haven't made one for quite a while, so I thought I'd give it a go today. If you're not aware of what they are, they're just tiny pieces of artwork. They have to be, you have to work in inches for this really, 3.5 by 2.5 inches. But other than that, they can be any medium, you can do whatever you like. They can be fabric, they can be painted, you can use I don't know, felt, card, whatever, anything. But they just have to be that size. And the only difference between ATC and ACEO is that an artist trading card you have to trade, swap. An ACEO you can sell. Okay, so it's exactly the same thing. You just have to call them different things. So that's what I thought I'd do today. I've got no idea what I'm going to do other than, for some reason, I just wanted to start with a black surface because my husband bought me this paint a few years ago now. I haven't even opened it, but apparently it's the blackest black. So I just want to do a coat of that and start with that. So other than starting with black, I'm going to, sometimes I do it this way. I'm going to have a bigger sheet, as you can see here, that I'm going to cut up later. But to start with, maybe about halfway, I'll cut it. But to start with, I'm just going to do like a bigger surface. And I quite like doing it that way sometimes because you're never entirely sure where the edges are going to be. It's just a different way of making them. So apart from that and using black, I've got no idea what I'm going to do. I've literally emptied my drawers and I'm surrounded by all sorts of things, stamps and stencils and inks and paints and everything. So yeah, we're just going to get started and see what happens.
So here I am using my blackest black paint, and as you can see, it really wasn't very black at first. So I gave it a shake, added some more, and it did get a lot blacker. And you'll see in a second, in the top left corner, it does get quite dark, and there's tiny specks of black that I don't know if you can see very well on screen, but they are pretty black. I wasn't too bothered about it being particularly neat. I just wanted to have a go at using the paint really. And then I got my map stamp and blue acrylic paint and had a go at stamping that. It didn't work too well, but that's okay. Got a bit of blue on the page, so that was okay. Then I remembered that as I was doing the black, I was going to use a white Posca pen to just do some scribbles. So that's what I did next. And then I got my pink paint and a flower stencil to get some more colour on the page, and then went back to the blue paint and some like bubbles, circles, stencil, and did some more blue. And the next thing I did was get my handwriting stamp, and by mistake I used a green ink which wasn't archival, so it did smudge a bit later, but I changed to black and just did some stamping on tissue paper and then stuck them onto the sheet with Mod Podge. And you can see that the green did, like I said, it did smudge a bit, but it's fine. It's mixed media, anything goes really, doesn't it? So like I said earlier, I like working this way sometimes because you can just go with the flow a bit and you're never really sure where things are going to end up on your card. And I quite like that because you're not overthinking it. So it's quite a nice way to work on a larger sheet of paper and then cut it up afterwards. So I do a couple more things before I start cutting. So now I'm using yellow acrylic paint and just doing some paint splatters all over. And then I get a page from a diary and some Dilutions ink. I did buy some books from a charity shop just for ripping up for mixed media, but I've got no idea what I've done with them. So just a page from a diary, just to get some text, and using the dilutions, yellow, orange and red. And then I was using my butterfly stamp just to stamp 6 butterflies. I did some dragonflies as well, but I didn't end up using those. And then as I decided to do butterflies, I felt it needed some kind of grass or flowers. So I thought maybe I could use, I've got some lovely flowery botanical stencils. I thought maybe I could use those, but then I thought, no, let's keep it abstract. So I just ripped up bits of green tissue paper and stuck those down. And this is the part where I decide to cut the cards. So yeah, 3.5 by 2.5 inches. It's always quite exciting to see what they're going to turn out like actually. As you can see here, this is what they do look like. So I'm just putting the butterflies in place now. And then I use green distress ink to distress the edges of the butterfly before I stick them down. And then I use an iridescent medium to give it a bit of a sparkle. It's like a silver pearlized effect, just put on the butterflies. And then after that I use this orange glimmer mist just to give it a bit more colour and sparkle. And then I use my white Posca pen to do some dots. I do groups of 3 dots on each one. And then the last thing I do is use a purple distress ink to distress the edges of all the cards. I think that really finishes them off. And here are the finished cards. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you again soon.